Hey guys, thank you for joining me in this really awesome and fun and very informative class. I get requests all the time with more contouring techniques and things like that. I know that you guys probably know me out there for my contouring techniques, and it is my absolute privilege to be able to show you today the different ways that I like to highlight and contour. And the coolest part about this awesome class is that I know a lot of you out there who have signed up for my yearly subscription. This is the annual subscription on dressyourfacelive.com. You guys have received my ultimate contour beauty box, and I'm so in love with the contents inside this box, and that's the whole point of me showing you today how to create a really effortless contour look on yourselves and on your clients, or even if you're not a professional, just for your own use, basically how to use the really cool items that are inside this box. I'm going to show you what goes in it. If you have not signed up for the annual subscription, now is definitely the time to do so, because the box is absolutely amazing. And we did order some extras. I know it sold out really fast and a lot of you weren't able to get it, so we went ahead and put in an order to get more boxes in for you all. And so all you have to do is sign up for an annual subscription to dressyourfacelive.com. that's already discounted, and you get to have one of these babies. So let me tell you what's inside. I'm really proud of the items that we've chosen. These are things that I really like, even for my clients and for myself. And you guys already know most of these products that I love, so I wanted to make sure I can create a box for you guys as our gift to you. So first things first, I wanted to tell you guys about the NYX Cosmetic palette. This is really similar to a lot of the high-end, expensive brands out there for contour palettes, and this is a powder palette. So I'm going to show you exactly how I use this, and it's really amazing because it comes with all of these colors. There's 8 colors total, so it really does create a nice range that you can work with different skin tones and ethnicities and all that good stuff. So I'll show you how I like to use this item here. Also, you guys already know I love the LA Girl Pro Conceal. The LA Girl Pro Conceal has been my go-to for several years now, ever since I first tried it. And they have been an amazing sponsor for a lot of my tours, my shows and stuff like that. And so I'm going to show you how I do this for myself. You guys have probably seen some of my other classes if you're already members of dressyourfacelive.com. Basically, you've already seen a lot of my contour stuff on how I use this, but I want to show you an easier way. I know a lot of this stuff is like super advanced, so I want you guys to see a way that I do it on myself, which is quicker, easier, but still gives you that very professional finish at the end. So I use this, which is the creamy beige for the highlight, and then I use this one, which is called Beautiful Bronze, for the contour area. So I'll show you what I do with these. And of course, I absolutely love Girlactic. Now, Girlactic has specially made a highlight for us. On the back, it says exclusively for Dress Your Face. And this is for my students. Basically, these are just for you guys. But you can buy the original packaging on their website. But Girlactic has made us these amazing compacts just for us. This is called Face Glow in Natural, and it works on so many skin tones. They also have a color called Bronze, which works on a lot deeper skin tones, but I've actually used this on deeper skin tones and it looks really nice. You just have to know how to use it, so that's why I am here today, to show you exactly how I use all these things. And then lastly, what's in the box is my favorite contour brush of all time. This is the Morphe 438 brush. It is amazing. It fits so good right in the hollows of the cheeks and around the forehead. You can always squeeze it to get on the sides of your nose as well, and it's truly amazing. I absolutely love this brush. It's dense enough and soft enough for every area of contour and highlight. I use it for highlight as well, so it's really cool, and I'm thrilled to have this in the box as well. So that's all the goodies that come in the box. It's really amazing. This is what the box looks like, and you can get it delivered to your door just simply by signing up for the annual subscription. So If you have any questions for me, just go on my latest Instagram post, ask your questions, and then whenever we do a Q&A, I can go back and answer some of those questions for you so you guys can, learn a little bit more if you guys need any further information on anything that we're learning today. And even if it's not 100% contour and highlight related, I will still answer your questions at the end of class. So let's go ahead and get started. What I'm going to do is I'm going to have the camera zoomed in on my face so that you can really see every detail. I know it's scary, but all I have on right now is foundation and concealer, but I want to really show you how to contour. So all you have to do at home is make sure you have your foundation on and your concealer. The foundation that I'm wearing today is the Kevyn Aucoin Sensual Skin Enhancer Foundation in number 8. I have that all over actually as my concealer as well. So I did not use a separate concealer. I just have that particular product as my foundation and my concealer at the same time because I am going to be using these babies to do a little extra for me. So we're gonna go ahead and zoom in right now. In the meantime, go ahead and get your pen and papers ready. There's a lot of notes that you guys have to take down. And if you guys wanna practice along with me, make sure you have, for those of you who already have the beauty box, go ahead and whip out your contents, put a mirror in front of you and practice along with me. And I would love for you guys to show me what you got by hashtagging Dress Your Face Live on Instagram on all your posts regarding what you're learning in class and your posts about the contour box and all that stuff, so I can see and show you some love and make sure you guys are understanding everything that I'm teaching. I'm also gonna make sure that I step back away from the light just so that we can, you can see all the details in case anything is too bright. I can come back and make sure everything's okay here. So, are we ready to go? Cool, we're good? All right, first things first, you wanna whip out your highlight product. I usually highlight with the LA Girl Pro Conceal in Creamy Beige. If your skin type or your skin tone is darker than mine, just by a little bit, then you can definitely try a darker color. But honestly, I've used this particular shade on so many different individuals out there, different skin colors, and it worked out amazing. The only time that I have to use a different color is if I'm working with a really, really dark skin tone. And then I'll go with more of a honey shade, something a lot more warm and orangey. But for everyone else, I stick with this. And then on extremely, extremely light skin, I'm talking like almost no color to the face, they have a color called Porcelain, which works out great for the white areas. But for us, we will be using a very universal shade, which is the one that I chose for the box because it works out for most of us. And this is the Creamy Beige. So whip that out. What I like to do is I like to put it on the back of my arm, but I have my henna tattoo, so I'm not gonna mess that up. I'm gonna put it right here. Okay, I just squeezed out a small amount and I put it on my hand, and I'm going to be using this brush actually to draw everything for me, so it makes life so much easier. So first things first, we're going to dip into the product, and I'm going to make a line on the side of my face. This is a line that's going from the right below the corner of my eye all the way down towards the corner of my mouth. So just make that line. Make sure it's kind of going right alongside of your nose and it's covering up your laugh line. I have laugh lines, and so I like to highlight those areas just to really, really brighten them up. So we have our first lines all the way on the side of the nose going towards the corner of the mouth. So you see that? Okay. By the way, if you guys want to take screenshots of this class, feel free to do so you remember all the steps. I have no problem with you doing that. If you like to post them, make sure you're hashtagging Dress Your Face Live so I can show you some love. I always like to support you guys just the same way that you've always supported me. It's a beautiful relationship. Okay, so we have our two lines going down the side of our nose, but it's kind of tilting out towards the corner of our mouth. Now we're gonna feel where the top of our cheekbones are. So the top of my cheekbone is right around here. Okay, so I'm just making a mark, and I'm gonna dip back into my little pile here. I'm using this brush. Instead of squeezing it out on your face, just in case too much comes out at once, I do it on my hand and I use this brush as my, paintbrush. So I'm gonna just draw a line now meeting up with the corner of my mouth. So it's going from the top of my cheekbone down towards the corner of my mouth. And I'm just gonna go right under my eyes, right below my eye bags, and I'm gonna fill in everything else. So it doesn't have to be a perfect fill in. You could just do lines, dashes, whatever. But the cool part is that you are gonna blend it. So if it's a little messy, that's totally okay. My biggest thing that I wanna see from my students is that you at least know where you're putting it on. The zoning is very important, but as far as the cleanliness of your lines and the beautiful designs and stuff, that's completely up to you. That's just kind of a fun part of it, an artwork part of it. If you want to post about it, keep it neat so that you can post a really cool picture for Instagram and stuff. But for me, honestly, when I'm just doing it myself, I just slap it on. As long as it's in the right zone, that's all I care about. Now that we're done with the cheek area, I want to make sure that I'm also tagging my T-zone. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in the center of my eyebrow here, so you can see, and I'm going to draw a line, and I'm stopping it right at the arch of my eyebrow. You see that? It stops right at the arch of the eyebrow. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side, stopping right at the arch of my eyebrow. And now I'm going to fan it out. So it just literally is like the rays of the sun, okay? Or, actually I have another analogy, but anyway, first do the burst, okay? Now with the center of this, we can act like this is a tree, if that makes it easier for you guys to understand and remember. So these are the beautiful branches of the tree, and then here we have the trunk of the tree. So the trunk is going to be the nose, and we're just going to sneak this line all the way down the center of our nose. And it's just a very, very straight line. It does not curve. I do have a nose contouring class coming up. So those of you who are my members, obviously, you know, you're seeing my classes and stuff, so you guys can watch that amazing nose contour class that's coming up. I'm actually going to have different models with different nose shapes, different ethnicities coming in, and I'm going to show you guys how to contour every nose shape. So even if it's crooked or if it's straight or whatever it is, always go for a straight line. And then those of you who are All Access Pass members, you guys can watch any class at any time, 24/7, so you guys will be fine. But for the rest of you, make sure you do catch that class. So just a straight line down, and then I like to highlight around any dips around the nose, Cupid's bow area. I like to go around the nose as well, just in case I'm a little bit red and want to cover anything up there. And then lastly, I do a little bit on my chin, just to make it look a little bit more pointy. So that's all the areas that I like to highlight. So I'm going to get a little closer so that you guys can see side to side. Actually, I'll step back so that you guys can see without the bright light. Okay, that's how the highlight should look. So now we're going to go into the contour. This is the beautiful bronze from LA Girl in the box, and we're just going to apply some of this using your hand as your palette. And now I'm going to sculpt my cheekbones. So I'm gonna make a line from the top of my ear going towards the corner of my mouth, but I'm gonna raise it a little bit because I don't want my cheeks looking saggy. As I'm aging, I'm noticing that the volume of my face is kind of disappearing, and where the volume should be kind of up here for your cheeks, mine is kind of coming down. So I wanna make sure that my contour line does not go all the way down here. It's kind of curving right back up in the area between my lips and my nose. So I'm gonna go right up in here. This is the area, like as if there's a ruler going from the top of the ear going towards the corner of the mouth. So this is where that area would be. And then I'm just kind of disappearing my line as I go in. Okay, do the same thing on the other side. So the top of the ear going towards the corner of the mouth and letting that line disappear. So it's a little stronger and thicker on the upper part, and it's just kind of disappearing as it goes down. So it doesn't actually touch the mouth, doesn't touch the nose, it just kind of is floating and just disappears. Once you have that done, I'm ready for my forehead. So I'm going to go in and start with my temple zone. So I like to shade up my temple zone so my forehead looks a little bit more three-dimensional instead of flat. Okay, so the temple zone is done. And now very, very little, I'm just gonna go around the perimeter of my forehead just on my hairline. So you guys can see the dark on the sides and very little bit on the top, and the majority is the highlight. Now, if you have a big forehead, you wanna make sure that you're doing more contour and less highlight, just so that you're shaving off some of those extra inches or centimeters just in proportion to the face. And if you have a smaller forehead, then you wanna do more highlight and less contour. My forehead is, I would say it's about average, so I do a little bit of both, just to keep everything balanced and three-dimensional looking. By the way, this is not an everyday thing. This is just for fun. This is great for photographs. Doing highlight and contour looks so amazing in pictures. It really plays with the art of shadow and light. So you can like literally manipulate the face and the muscles of the face to look a little bit different, and to create a lift in areas, or to lower certain areas, or to trim certain areas and to create some skinny hollows, or to add more volume in certain areas. So it's truly amazing all the things that you can do with highlight and contour. So now that the forehead and the cheeks are done, I'm going to work my nose, and then I'm going to focus on the bottom part. So for my nose, I'm going to go in just a little bit on underneath my brow area, so that it just kind of touches the highlight, and then I'm going to hug the highlight and go all the way down. So I'm just inching down the side of my nose. I'm going very, very straight with it. And same here. I just want to go super, super straight with this nose contour. I don't want to go all the way to the side of the nose. I want to kind of set it up right on the top of my nose to create a really, really skinny bridge. You guys saw my before and after on my Instagram, me without contouring and me with contouring, and it's such a big difference. Thank you all for saying that I look fine without it. I really appreciate that. But I do feel so much more radiant when I do have the lights and shadows working for me and not against me. So this way I can manipulate it and create my own look. So I have a sharper nose now. And what I'm going to do at this point is I'm going to create a line from the top of my nostril cutting over to the top of my other nostril. So this is what's going to trim the bulb at the tip of my nose. See that? It just cuts it right over, so I can create a very, very, very sharp line here. Okay? So now this is kind of how it's going to look. If you want, you can even create a little L shape so that it's almost like an arrow. What it does is it really, really sharpens the tip of your nose, and that's if you want it super, super sharp. I love a Barbie nose, so I go crazy when I do it, but it's totally up to you how insane you want to go. This is just kind of what I like to do. And then I go and I'm cutting down through my jawline. Now, I'm going right above my jawline because I want to trim it. But if you already have a small jawline and a very tight face, then you can just go a little bit below, or you don't even have to contour your jawline at all. So what I'm doing is I'm just going in from my earlobe all the way down to my chin. And then lastly, adding a little bit of a dip right above my lip, and then a little bit right above my chin, just to create a little bit of a three-dimensional look so that it's not completely flat everything and looking so fake. So I'm going to go ahead and, create a nice even balance between the lights and the dark. So I'm going to just sit back a little bit and have you see how I look from side to side. If you'd like to take screenshots, I have no problems with that. Feel free to take your screenshots so you remember where everything goes. This is the completed map. And like I said, the only time I really ever change it is if, the forehead is really large, then I'll do extra contouring. And if it's really small, I'll do more highlighting. And of course, the angle of the cheek. This is kind of universal, works on almost everybody. But if someone's face is very, very long, then you want to go a little straighter. And if someone's face is very round, then you want to go more angular, okay? So now that this is done, we're going to go ahead and blend everything. And I'm going to use, you can use a beauty blender to blend, or you can use a brush. I'm into brushes. I really am old school when it comes to that stuff. So I'm just going to use a brush. And the brush that I'm going to use first is, actually, I want to show you a couple brushes. This is one brush, Morphe G30, which I really like for chiseling out certain areas. And then when it comes to blending the highlight zones and the more wider zones, I tend to just use a flat brush like this. This is also from Morphe. It's G9. So I'm going to go ahead and start blending the highlight zone simply by patting it in. Just be careful that you're not accidentally touching the contour areas, because you don't want to contaminate the brush with dark right now. So only concentrate on the light zones. Okay, so now you see that this cheek is blended. I'm going to do the same with the other side. If there's any areas that are like harder to blend, you can absolutely use your finger, and the warmth of your finger is going to really melt the product so that it's easier to blend, instead of using a spray or anything to re-wet it. I'm not a huge fan of sprays and re-wetting the face. And even with the beauty blender, I'm not a fan of it being damp, because I don't like to dilute all my hard work. So I'm going around my nose. I'm going to go on my forehead, blend all that in. I'm going to tilt a little sideways so I'm not like blocking you when I'm doing this, so you guys can totally see every move that I'm making. Alrighty. So everything is nice and smooth now on those larger areas. Now I can work on some of the smaller areas. Got the chin. Blend that in. And then I'm just going to use my finger to blend in the top of my nose, because I know that the brushes are really big. Or you could use a an eyeshadow brush to do the smaller areas like the nose and stuff. But I tend to, when I'm doing it on myself, I like to use my fingers. Alright, so now that all the highlight zones are blended in, you can see, I'm now going to do my contour zones. So I'm going to switch over to this brush, and now I'm just going to chisel out my contour zones. I'm just kind of going back and forth right now just to get the product to move, and then I'm going to lift it up to slightly overlap with my highlight so that it blends in a little bit better. And as far as the direction to go, I'm going higher because I really want to raise my cheekbones instead of making them sag lower. And on any areas where it's just not blending right, I'm going to use my fingers to give it an extra smoothing. Okay, so now you can see this really, really nice blend right in here. And it's starting to look really even. So now I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing on the other side. So make sure that you're lining up the edge of the brush to your cheek. If you have a different brush, I use so many different brushes for this. This is just a new thing that I started using. But if you guys have the MAC 130 brush, it's like a little eraser brush. It's a flat duo fiber. That one works really well too. It's small enough for the thin areas, wide enough for the wide areas. Okay? You can already see a difference in my cheeks. I'm going to go ahead and really, really chisel in my jawline. I don't want to see a crazy brown line on the side of my face, so I'm actually going to roll it down so it blends in. Okay, and I always double check to make sure you can't see no crazy brown line. Same on the other side. And always remember to check it. No trace of a line should show at all on the jawline. So if that means that you have to use your fingers to further blend, then go ahead and use your fingers to further blend. Okay. Now that that's done, I can do this. So now the chin is looking three-dimensional, not just flat. And now we're going to work on the temple zones. And I'm going to push the product into my hairline. I'm going to be very careful not to mess with my eyebrows since I already have them on. And now I'm going to push the hairline in. And see how I'm using my fingers? It definitely helps to then smooth out the edges so that it doesn't show any lines or dots. So it's very important to get a really, really, really good blend. Already looking good there. I'm going to focus on the hairline, bringing it into the hairline, and using my fingers to further blend right in between. So now you can see my face side to side. It's starting to look a little bit more shapely, and it has this awesome three-dimensional look to it. So now I'm going to go ahead and start on my nose. So we're going to switch brushes here. We're going to make sure that we're using a small enough brush so that it doesn't mess up everything. So the brush that I really love to use for the nose contouring and blending is the MAC Oval number 3 brush. Which looks like this. It looks like a toothbrush. So we're going to go in and we're going to start rubbing off this contour. And notice that when I'm rubbing it off, I'm wiping it off on my hand so that I'm not putting back all that dark stuff that I'm taking off. I really just want it to look as soft as possible. So if that means I have to use my fingers for some of it, then absolutely use your fingers for some of it. So we're just going to brush that right off. See how it fits so nicely? Okay. So I'm just using my fingers to make sure that everything's looking very sharp and nice. And lastly, make sure that the bottom of the nose from nostril to nostril is taken care of, and here. And I'm just blending over it so it doesn't look too crazy. But we're going to go ahead and keep everything else as soft as possible. But we don't want to spread anything out. So notice how in the nose I just went up and down. I didn't spread it all the way out to the sides. I want to make sure that that sharp shape remains. So now that we're done with that first major step, which is the cream contour and the highlight, now we can focus on setting your zones with the appropriate color powder, which is why I was really excited to be able to give you all this amazing palette. As long as you sign up for the yearly subscription, you guys can get your hands on this wonderful palette. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use these colors to set my highlight and contour. First things first, I'm going to go ahead and mix the yellow and the beige. That's these two tones here. I'm going to mix these two to set my under eye area. And the brush that I'm going to use for that is actually, I'm going to just pretty much use this Morphe brush that is included in that set. This Morphe brush number 438, I'm going to use that to set everything. So I'm going to go ahead and grab this product. And now I'm just setting the highlight zone. So go around all your highlight zones and set it really nicely. You can go all the way up to the side of the nose as well. So once you are finished with setting the larger areas, which would be under your eyes and around your cheek area, then you can focus on the nose as well. But first what I like to do is get the big areas out of the way just so most of my work is done. Okay? I like to do a few layers, but the only thing is if you have I have very, very dry skin. So I usually can't do like so much powder unless my foundation is really creamy, which is why I like the Kevyn Aucoin foundation. It's very creamy, so I'm able to do this much powder. But if you're not wearing enough moisturizer and enough foundation, then putting so much powder on may make you feel really dry. So make sure you have enough moisture on first. Otherwise, if you don't, then just use very little bits of powder just so that you're not drying out your skin. So now you can see that I have set my cheek area. And I'm going to do the same thing with my forehead, all the areas that I highlighted. Notice how I'm just pushing it in. Okay, I'm going to do the same on my chin. I'm also going to use whatever's left on my brush just to lightly set the zones that haven't been set yet. I'm going to make sure I'm also getting right in my laugh line so that it brightens it right up. All right, now that I look like a ghost, I'm ready to do the darker areas. But before I do that, I'm going to switch my brush to a slightly smaller brush. This is Morphe 407, and I'm going to do the center of my nose with the same thing. So I'm just going to use the side of this brush, and I'm just going to stamp it right down the center of my nose. So now I've set that. It's very important to, when you're using a liquid or a cream contour and highlight, to set it with the appropriate powders so that it doesn't just wipe off throughout the day. Alrighty, so now that I did that, I can focus on the darker areas. So I'm just gonna make sure I'm dusting this off, and now I'm ready to set with a darker color. So I'm gonna go in with this shade here. This one on this side. Shake it off. Always tap off the brush when you're working with darker colors just so it doesn't look all insane when you first put it on. And I'm just gonna slightly chisel the areas that I've contoured. So I'm just going up and down like this to chisel in my cheekbone. And now, with whatever's left on my brush, I'm rolling it up to overlap with the edge of my highlight so that it turns it a little bit more beigey, more warm, so it doesn't look so white anymore. And see how it starts to blend really nicely? I'm just grabbing a little bit more product and doing the same thing. I really love a bronze look, so I'm actually going to be coloring my skin a lot with the darker shades. And notice that I'm not holding the brush really, really strong. I'm not putting too much pressure on my brush. I'm going light like a feather. Really, really light like a feather. And now, just so that I don't look too ghostly, whatever's left on my brush, I'm also gonna cover up this bottom half of my face. Remember how we did whatever was left on the brush with the highlight? Now we're gonna do the same thing with the contour, because this area is not a highlight area, it's a medium area. So we're creating our own medium shade with this palette. So in this case, you don't really have to have a gazillion different colors with you and different products. You can mix the colors of your palette to create your ideal tone. Okay, so now you see I went really dark in here and I go faded everywhere else so I can create a really nice medium tone. And of course, if you feel like the center of your face is still too white, go ahead and use whatever's left on your brush on other areas, but never dip into a dark color and go straight to a light area. It's gonna grab on too heavy. So that's why I wait till I'm already done with like a dark area, and then whatever's left on my brush, I use that to go over my light areas. So same with the other side. Go in, tap it off. And we're gonna let it grab on to our other side. Okay, so now we have this cool chiseling. And now I'm gonna roll whatever's left on my brush right above. So that it looks a little bit more blended. And if you feel like you need to use your hands, feel free to use your hands. I'm a huge, huge advocate of using the hands. And now whatever's left on the brush, I'm going to fill in my medium zone so I can create a medium color for myself. Remember, I already put that light color here, so now I'm just mixing in some dark in there to create a medium, because this palette does not have medium shades. The top row is highlight, the bottom row is contour, but there's nothing in between. So this palette is really meant to mix it up. Create your own shades if you don't have all of them already. All right, so see how now it's just much more blended, much softer, much more believable. Now I'm grabbing a little bit more product and I'm gonna work on the sides of my forehead. And whatever's left on my brush, I'm doing the perimeter. And then the other side of the forehead. And now whatever's left on the brush, I'm just overlapping with that middle part in between the contour and the highlight. So now I have this darker perimeter around the face. So now I let my hair go and you can really see this cool balance between the light and the dark. Lastly, we have to work on the nose. So I don't like it when the nose is too dark on the sides. I feel like it looks a little crazy. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create a medium by mixing the banana color. This is the yellowish color with this one. Wiping off a little bit on my arm, and I'm just going to lightly get the sides of my nose here. Just to set it, nothing too crazy. Alrighty. If you need to go in with your smaller brush, you absolutely may. So you can chisel in the sides of the nose, but I'm definitely going to show you guys in its own nose class how to create a very, very chiseled nose. Right now I'm just kind of softening up the contour by going over with medium, my little medium concoction that I made. Alrighty, everything looking okay for you guys? Hope you guys are trying this at home and getting some good results. Now, time to really utilize your highlights. So I'm gonna go back to this yellow just by itself, the yellow color, and I'm just gonna re-brighten certain areas of the face. So the areas where your bones are sticking out, which would be here and here, the T-zone, I'm gonna go in with one final layer of this yellow just to re-brighten, and that's really gonna finish that whole blend so that it looks really, really flawless. Okay, so see how that just brightens up the forehead a little bit? I'm gonna do the same for under my eye area. I'm going in with that yellow and we're really brightening up. And that's for those of you who like a very dramatic highlight and contour. See how that really just brightened up that area right there? So we're doing the same right in here. The reason why I didn't start with just the yellow is because I really didn't want it to look too yellow at the end, because when you're using a liquid or a cream product, which is our LA Girls, and then you put a powder right over it, it grabs on really heavily. So I didn't want to go too crazy right away. I end up layering with my lights and darks, and that makes me feel a lot more comfortable instead of going right in with a crazy, crazy color. And I'm also gonna brighten up the laugh lines with this yellow as well, so I can make sure everything's looking nice and heightened. And lastly, I'm going to use my finger with the same yellow. And I'm just going to go right up and down the bridge of my nose with that. And that just kind of sharpens it up. And then any areas that are looking funky, any areas that are just like too dark, we can go in with that same color just to soften everything up. Okay, so now I'm just kind of stepping back so you guys can really see how amazing this contour looks. I just want to soften up my nose a little bit more, so I'm going in with a smaller brush just to do a little bit more blending. If anything looks kind of weird, just go back in and blend more. The trick is to not over blend, and that's something I want to show you in a future class, a little bit more about knowing when to stop so that you're not overdoing it. Once I'm happy with the darkness of the contour on my nose versus the light areas, which I think right around here looks Barbie enough, I would say. All right, clean off my nose ring. And now we have a very, very glamorous highlight and contour. I'll do this whole side to side thing, but there's still one more step left. But I want you guys to take your screenshots just in case you need to remember how it looks. Okay, now you guys see all of this craziness going on, and the last thing that I do, now that everything's mattified, I go in with my Girlactic Beauty Face Glow in Natural. And we're going to create a little bit of a shimmer effect with this product. So this is called Face Glow, and it is a shinier product. So we take a little bit, and I can show you how it looks. It just has like this awesome glow to it. Okay, so I'm going to use this on myself as well. And I'm going right back into the same brush that we've been using, the same Morphe brush. I'm going to take a little bit of this product, tap it off, and we're going to press it into the skin right on top of the cheekbone. Don't let it really touch too much of your contour. If you accidentally get a little bit on your contour, just kind of wipe it off. But see how that just adds a little bit of shine right in there? The angle should be right on top of your bone, so close to your eye, going down towards your nostril. See? Boom, boom, boom. Same thing on the other side. And blend it up and down. And then, of course, on top of your smile, if you really want your smile to be caught with light. And then whatever's left on the brush, I like to add a little bit of shimmer right above my eyebrows, and I usually rub that in with my fingers so that it's not going too crazy here. Just give it a really light touch. And then with my fingertip, adding that same shimmer down the bridge of my nose. See that? Shimmer down the bridge of my nose. If you want a little bit more shimmer in other areas, you can add a little bit on your Cupid's bow and a little hint right across your chin if you really want to add it kind of a little bit everywhere. So there you have it, guys. This is the completed highlight and contour look. I'm going to push my chair back so you guys can see without too much light on me. This is the finished effect. It's definitely dramatic. I go very dramatic on myself because I know that my face can handle it. But if you're not used to so much makeup, you absolutely do not have to do this much. I just wanted to break it down for you so it's a lot easier, and it's totally up to you how crazy you want to go. So we're going to go ahead and zoom out so you can really see how the whole balance is. And now it is time for me to answer some of your popular questions. So we'll go ahead and zoom out just a bit for you. Get your questions ready. Go on my latest Instagram post, ask your questions there, and I'll go ahead and refresh it so I can answer, okay? Again, I just want to say a huge thank you to my beauty box participants, NYX Cosmetics, LA Girl Pro Conceal and the Morphe brush and Galactic Beauty. Absolutely some of my favorite products. I'm so impressed with this, by the way. The first time I used it, I really was impressed. I thought it was such a good quality for how low the price is. It's just absolutely amazing. And of course, all of these, the rest of these items I've been using for years, so I already knew. But this is just, you know, one of my newest gems, and I'm very happy with it. So of course, if you guys are just tuning in, make sure you guys get this set. It is our free gift to you, this entire set. With your renewal or your purchase of the annual subscription pass to dressyourfacelive.com. It's super easy. You already get a huge discount by going annual instead of monthly. It already breaks it down into a much lower price. Plus this free gift is just my thank you to you guys for being my students. It's an honor to be your teacher, and I absolutely love showing you my tricks basically every week. We do classes all the time, and I have so much fun with it, and I love taking your requests. So of course, if you have requests for what type of class you want to do next, please write it on my Instagram in the comments. And I do take my requests very seriously. You guys have noticed that every time you guys request something, I end up doing it. So please, I would love to hear what other items that you'd want to learn about, what other topics you want to learn about in this class. So I'm going to go ahead and refresh some of these so I can hear your questions. By the way, we have an entire customer service team that's always dedicated to making sure that my Dress Your Face Live members are happy. So if anything poses a concern for you, if you have a question about anything Dress Your Face Live related, anything about online classes, your membership, your cards, your products, anything at all, you can email info@dressyourfacelive.com or just go on the website, and on the bottom there's a contact section, so you can email them and they will get back to you as soon as possible. They're really good with their customer service. I'm very proud to have such an amazing team. Let's see here. I don't, okay, where is it? Questions, go ahead and, Oh, I'm seeing that there is some questions about the brushes that I was using, so I'm going to go ahead and repeat myself on what brushes they were. I was using mainly the Morphe 438 brush for that. This is included in the set. I was also using the Morphe 407 brush to really pack in certain areas. And then the other ones that I was using for blending were these two. This is from their Gunmetal collection. It's Morphe G30 and Morphe G9. G9 for my highlight areas. It's more of a foundation brush type of thing. And then these for my contour and chiseling areas. This is more of a sliding and chiseling type of brush. And then also the toothbrush. Everyone calls it a toothbrush. It's really cute. This is MAC Oval number 3 for the sides of the nose, blending that. Those are the brushes that I used. Okay, let's see here. Let's see. When I apply contour, my foundation tends to rub off. How do I prevent that? The little underscore dewy goo is asking, when I apply contour, my foundation tends to rub off. How do I prevent that? So basically, I think what it is the intensity in which you are rubbing and blending your contour. Make sure that when you apply your foundation, you're doing 1 to 2 layers and very consistent. Make sure it is basically set. So before you do your highlighting and your contouring with the liquids, you want to make sure your foundation is a little bit set. So if that means waiting about a minute or so, then go ahead and do that, and do a lot of patting down with your foundation. When you're applying foundation, the way I do it is I apply the foundation, I really push it in so it sets a little bit faster. Then when you draw your highlight and contour on, when you're blending it, make sure you're blending it not too heavily. Don't put too much force into it because it will rub off all your hard work. So instead of blending really forcefully, use a brush. One of the brushes that I really like I said, is this one. it kind of just focuses on those small areas, and then very lightly like a feather blend it upward, and that way you're not really disrupting all the layers underneath. So lighten up your grip on the brush, really use it like a feather rather than like a heavy sculpting brush. And on the areas that just aren't blending right, you could use your finger. Like I said earlier, the warmth of your finger really blends in the product because it melts in the product. So you can melt the product in certain areas, make sure everything's looking all good like that. So hopefully that'll help you. That usually helps me. Jasmina NYC is asking, do you set your makeup when you're done with a finishing spray? The answer is I actually don't set my makeup at all. The only spray that I've used that I actually kind of like is the mattifying sealer spray from Cinema Secrets, and that's only on my clients that are extremely oily. I'm talking about so oily that even while I'm working on them, I can see that oil coming through. So in that case, I set them with that, and even if they tell me that they're super oily, I can always start with that as well. But I'm not a really huge fan of sprays in general. The way that I apply makeup, and I'll do more classes in the near future, full face classes where you can really see from start to finish. If you're a new member, you can start from the beginning and really know how I apply my foundation, my base, and all that stuff, because I feel like with every step that I do, that I'm showing you guys, especially when you guys are practicing at home, you'll notice longevity of your makeup, and you really don't need a spray afterward to seal anything. It actually lasts forever. A lot of my students have tried my technique on their clients and on themselves, and they've all said the same thing, that my makeup lasts so much longer. My clients look just as good in the beginning, at the end, as they did in the beginning, and it just makes me so proud because that means you're doing it right. So and that's the whole cool thing about these classes, that it's every single week, and so I can really show you you know, every part of makeup artistry over and over again, and as you guys develop more questions, I can develop those answers for you. Let's see some more questions here before we sign off. It's let's see. Someone was asking about using a prepping priming base for oily skin, so that's my answer for that as well. If you really must, try the Cinema Secrets sealer. It's a mattifying sealer. It's almost like a sweat control product. It's pretty interesting, so you can try that as well. Let's see. Sonika's Henna Art is saying, do you have any tips for how we can create a light shade for highlight under the eyes without using the white or yellow toned powder for darker skin? Absolutely. Instead, you can mix in some of the contour colors with the highlight areas of the palette. So you can use something from up here, mix with something from down here. Just make sure there's no shimmer in it, and make sure it doesn't turn very gray. So as long as it's a warm tone, it won't turn out super ashy on your client. If they have darker skin, you can create that medium just by playing around. But I highly, highly encourage you guys to really play with the products. Try the different combinations on yourself and on your client's arm or something just before you apply it on their face, just so you know that it's not going to turn too orange or too brown or too gray. Natty Makeup Art is asking, what's the main difference between NYX and your usual MAC powder? Now, those of you who've seen my classes in the past and have known my teachings for a while, I use Studio Fix powder for my clients. If you don't want to use so many different types of powders like I do, you can condense everything into one palette. But I still prefer, of course, using all my different things when I'm doing someone's makeup. So using the MAC Studio Fix powders usually definitely allows me to create a very even base first, and then chiseling in with my favorite contour palettes. So I still prefer that. It's a fuller coverage. Makeup by Pari is saying, Tam, what lipstick are you wearing currently? So I want to show you my lipstick. I absolutely love it. It's my favorite dark lipstick ever. And it is called Crazy Love by Saleha Beauty. I do have a discount code for you guys. It's DYF15. So it's DYF15 when you're checking out on salehabeauty.com. It's SALEHA beauty.com. And this is their Crazy Love lipstick. And I mean, as you can see, I've totally ruined the shape of it because I use it so much, but I love it. So DYF15, so you can get 15% off of any order on salehabeauty.com. And also I have a really fun announcement. I don't know if you guys have noticed on the homepage, but I have added the class for this makeup look, but I'm actually adding glitter to this makeup look. So we can do a vampy glam makeup tutorial so you guys know exactly how to recreate my entire face, eyes, lips, everything in that class. And those of you who are All Access members, of course, you'll be able to see it whenever you want once that class is uploaded. I'm only going to be able to answer one more question, and then we're going to say goodnight. And those of you who are not able to watch this class, it's going to be uploaded so you guys can watch it over and over and over again to your heart's content, and make sure you're practicing along with me. And of course, when you recreate your contour versions, I would love to see your step-by-steps. Hashtag Dress Your Face Live and let me know what you thought about this class so that I can show you my love and make sure that I'm listening to your needs and your requests. So the final question, let's see. All right, a lot of questions are regarding the concealers. So I want to talk to you guys about concealers in general. Of course, LA Girl Pro Conceal is totally my go-to when it comes to contouring and highlighting. But a lot of you are asking about the MAC ones, the Pro Longwear concealers, and I just want to let you know they're very similar. This product is such a duplicate of the MAC Pro Longwear for a fraction of the price, and it's easier for me because it has a brush on it, so I can literally draw all over the face and then blend it out, and you guys saw how easy it was to do that. The MAC Pro Longwear, though, I have to say, does have other shades in it that are much more warm and more suitable for dark circles and stuff like that. But recently, the LA Girl Cosmetics has come out with corrector colors, and they have a dark orangey red color, which is amazing for dark circles. So if you guys are suffering from dark circles, use the orange one of this from LA Girl Cosmetics Pro Conceal. Use the orange first, dab it off, blend it, and then you can do your highlight and contour, and it blends right over it and looks amazing. But yeah, the MAC Pro Longwear is still a very popular line, and I absolutely love that. So I would say if you're just looking for a concealer without really doing, you know, the whole brush thing with the LA Girl, then I would go with the MAC, and if you prefer the brush, I would go with the LA Girl. And a lot of you love this look. Thank you. I'm really glad you like it. This is the look that I'm going to be teaching, so you guys can find out. And then some of you were asking about my henna tattoos. I've posted it on my Instagram page and on my Snapchat. My Snapchat is DYF-Tamanna, T-A-M-A-N-N-A, and I always do my sneak peeks on Snapchat. There's another little surprise sneak peek today, and I have my whole, you know, thing going on. So every day, actually, my Snapchat is popping. But this is my henna tattoos. It is available on gold9ink.com. You spell 9 out, so it's N-I-N-E, not the number 9. So gold9ink.com. Check out the Tamanna design. So I have a black and gold design, and I have my white design. I've hand designed them, I drew them, and then they created it into a digital piece and got it printed through our manufacturer. And now you can just pop it on whenever you want, and it is available on gold9ink.com. So that's that, and now we are going to say bye. It has been a little bit over an hour. I'm sorry to keep you guys hanging here, but I just want to say thank you so much. And again, these products are so amazing, as you can see, and it's very blendable and changeable, and you can create your own colors in between, so it really works for a lot of different skin tones and ethnicities. So if you have not received your beauty box, or if you've not ordered one, all you have to do to get it for free is to sign up for the year annual membership on dressyourfacelive.com. It's such a bargain. You already get such an amazing deal, and you get this beauty box as our free gift. It is not for sale otherwise. It is only for sale as a free gift when you do the annual subscription. So you basically get hundreds of dollars worth of value because of the annual pass that we're giving you as well for such a low cost, and you get the box for free. So thank you again, and I will catch you at the next show. Look on dressyourfacelive.com home screen to see the entire schedule of classes, and I will see you very soon. Thank you.